what I wanted to do is very quickly give you a quick horizon scanning on what's on the agenda, especially in the UK right now, and on the EU as well, in particular in the next couple of months. You heard about CDS now. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to bring the horizon scanning together, also talk about the Russian sanctions. Here, the question is not really describing the Russian sanctions per se, but about what can you do and what can businesses do and what ought businesses to do in order to protect the business. And here I'm not talking about the bells and whistles tour of everything that you must do, and purchase expensive software, do it, but really common sensible things that anybody can really do, regardless of the size of business that you have. So with that said, let me remind us where we were with the whole Brexit thing and the situation at the beginning of the year. We had a year of delayed declarations, which were these supposedly simplified versions, which effectively led to many customs or many businesses not making any declaration, neither delayed nor any. That has ended on the 31st of December for EU 26. It is still in force for Ireland, which adds another complexity to the whole thing. How that is used, I am not even sure if a lot of Irish businesses are still using it. But it is clear that this is also coming to an end eventually. And so, there's no more need to talk about this. Instead, what we do have is we have full declarations from all goods from the beginning of 2022. And this is pretty clear for everyone. That means you got to make your chief declaration, you've got to make your CDS declaration, you've got to make the right declaration depending on the way you enter the UK and where you enter the UK. And you've already been made aware that there are differences in the way you clear customs depending on the port that you use, whether it is a non-inventory port or an inventory port. And you know that there is, you've just heard it from customs, that there is a large range of data that is required to complete the customs declarations. And besides that, before you even get there, you need to understand fundamental question as to who will make the customs declaration and who's duly authorized to make customs declarations. You've heard that. This is the discussion around the Incoterms and how to complete. You heard it with Mike, origin, commodity code, valuation, and the likes of it. And then you've heard it with Jane about the competencies and making sure that everybody's trained up and actually has the ability and the knowledge to complete it correctly. Now, from January 2022, a particular thing happened. If you are in food and drink or in retail or anything to do with so-called POAO goods, products of animal origin, then you know IPAFs. And if you didn't know IPAFs before, that means that you either didn't deal in this sector before or you haven't traded outside the European Union. Because companies outside the European Union trading with the EU, they are fully aware of traces. Traces is the pendant, the EU version of IPAFs, which is the additional veterinary controls that you need to undertake in order to deal with the pests, diseases, toxins, and the likes of it that might come in and might pose a threat to humans, animals, and plants. And so what we introduced from the 1st of January in the UK was the IPAFS notification for POAO goods. So this requires companies to make a CHED, which is a common health entry document, at least partly. And then that is an online delivery of information. And that had to be done for POAO goods, so products of animal origin, such as this beautiful burger here, but also some composites products, including liquors and certain egg liquors or pizzas or bolognese. POAO goods includes meat, but also includes honey, gelatine, and the likes of it. Dairy products, of course. And then ABP is animal byproducts, so that includes your pet food, but also other things we're not going to talk about. And then this long word stands for high-risk foods of non-animal origin. So this is certain pistachios and certain nuts that contain certain levels of toxins when they're roasted for long periods of time, and they are country specific. So all of these need to be notified on IPAFs, and that has been started in January 2022. And then we're heading towards July 2022. We are waiting for government news as regards potential delays. That is being rumored. Whether it is formally announced by the time I'm saying this is anybody's guess. But be that as it may, the plan for July 2022 is now this. And as you can recognize, this has been from the border operating model. And it explains to you who needs to do what and where and why. And this shows you how you're gonna get goods potentially into the EU, into the UK. And the two things that matter here, we're not going to go through the entire process. The three things that matter here are IPAFs. So again, notification via IPAFs. Then upload of the health certificate. So that is just a sentence. And as you can see, this is the new process. It just says upload health certificate, but behind that comes a lot of work, because an export health certificate is not easy to complete. It requires technical knowledge and understanding of not only the production, but also the type of species, the type of transportation, and it has to be done to a certain timeline. So that means what? It means you've got to give the authorities in the UK time to verify that what you have uploaded and what you are declaring is actually okay to pass, versus I want to check this. So the less time you give the authorities, the more likelihood logic would dictate is that they're going to stop you and check you. However, of course, there is a limited amount of checking, and the checking will be done at BCPs. So the three pieces of the puzzle from July are IPAFs, EHC, and BCPs. So the IPAFs we talked about, the EHC is a document that you're going to complete, and then you're going to give it to the VAT, and the VAT, the official veterinarian of your country, is going to sign it, stamp it, and do the things they need to do, give you the copy back. Then you're going to scan that, upload that onto the IPAFs, and that then allows the authorities in the UK to check that this has been declared correctly. When you then enter the UK after doing your GVMS and your GMR, you're going to be getting a notification whether your goods have been selected for inspections. If that is so, you need to go to a BCP, and not just any BCP, but the BCP duly authorized to treat your goods. So the Dover BCP, for example, so far was doing high-risk food of non-animal origin predominantly, but I guess is being upgraded to do per-hour checks, right? But if you were coming with a specific species of fish, for example, then you might have to detour to another BCP. So it is important to understand where the BCPs are if you're dealing with these kind of goods. Here you see the timetable: July, September, and then November. That's the current thinking.